joking.
Which was 2 nights after Christmas. And all through the house were just so many questions that needed answered. Hello everyone and happy Christmas. I hope you've all had a fantastic holiday. Have you guys had a fantastic holiday?
Yeah.
Good. Lots of food.
Loads of food.
Too much food.
Cake, chocolate.
Just about recovering. And as you guys know, a couple of weeks ago I set you an Ask Me Anything task, but this time it was Ask Us Anything because obviously I have part of my wonderful Crumbs and Doilies team here. We've got Sally over here, we've got Nikki, and we've got Dane, and hopefully you're familiar with all of these guys, but if you're not, get familiar because they're awesome. So we have tons of questions, so let's get cracking. So we have a question from Jack Spears who says, to the whole Crumbs crew, what is Jemma really like as a boss? I'm scared.
Jemma is super energetic and like just so much fun to work with.
Yeah.
She's more of a friend than a boss, isn't she?
Absolutely, yeah.
You just know when she's coming into the room, she gives like so much energy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, bam.
She's here.
She's there. But yeah, brilliant. I mean, she started Crumbs and Doilies, so you know.
She did.
Bow down.
Bow down.
Damn it, you're making me blush. No, keep on carrying. Oh, thanks guys. I'll pay you later. SN Lyons says, what are your baking horror stories? Anything ever go terribly wrong? I've got a really good one. Do you remember when Sam delivered that tiara, Princess Pink tiara cake? I bet it was like 3 years ago or something. 2 years ago, and it was just, it was like the hottest day of the year.
Yes.
And there was a 3-tier cake. It was like Princess Pink. I think it was for like a 2nd or 3rd birthday, and it had a tiara on the top, and it was gorgeous. And Sam, who is the other half of who owns Crumbs and Doilies, he went to deliver it in the van, and it was just so hot. And he arrived, and he looked at it from the front, and he was like, "Yeah, this looks pretty good." Arrived at the desk at the venue and said, "Oh, can you sign for this, please?" And they were seeing it from the other side, and they were like, "No, we're not signing for that." And what little did he know that on the other side of the cake to him, basically the whole thing had just like melted and collapsed in the heat. And like part of the tiara had broken off, and it was basically a mess. So he had to call us back at HQ, and everyone was like basically like not knowing what to expect, just that there was an emergency cake coming into the emergency cake room. And like preparing the colours again, the buttercream, and like not really knowing what they had to get ready. I think you guys made another tiara.
Yeah, we had it all ready because we weren't sure exactly what the state of the cake was.
Yeah.
So we just like had our tools, and as soon as he got there, it was like,
Go!
but it was fine, and we got it back in time, and they were happy, so happy ending to a
happy ending. I mean, there's always going to be some horror stories, but like when you've got an amazing team that will just kind of go to any lengths to get stuff done, then nothing is too difficult.
What is it? Teamwork makes the dream work?
Yeah.
Selena KH Music says, "Dear Jemma and team, which cake is the hardest stroke most complicated cake you made, and why?" Well, this has got to be the mosaic cake.
Yeah, so what was that, like 6 years ago or something?
It was for a Japanese TV show. They wanted to film us make a mosaic out of 10,000 cupcakes, and it was and like basically they took over the entire kitchen, and it was crazy.
It was crazy, but it was so fun.
It was really,
and
really
we
fun.
were on Japanese TV.
Yeah, maybe. But it was so difficult. Like
my God.
we got given. So I got given like the mosaic plan and numbers for each colour, and we had to match that colour perfectly with the buttercream. So, but I had to work out. I literally had to count squares to work out, like tiny little squares to work out how many cakes would have that colour icing and then how much icing to make. Oh my God. I went home in my Crocs almost every night, covered in icing and just delirious the time.
Don't you remember when we went to set the cake up?
It looked amazing.
Someone said that's when we met Dave!
Sylvester. And I knew you guys were coming because I think I saw on Instagram. And then I was like, I'm not doing anything, like I have to go into town. It was in the shopping centre, and I just was like waiting there on my phone.
This is in Leicester, by the way.
And I was like hashtagging, and I think you were like seeing my posts. And then it's so funny because you guys went upstairs to see it, and then I was downstairs, and you just shouted, Dane! Yes!
We'd never met you in real life, I don't think.
No.
Because Dane's been a mega fan of Crumbs and Doilies for quite some time. I mean, I think that makes you cool.
Yeah.
You decide. And he'd kind of followed our story for quite a long time, and he'd like ordered sort of sprinkles from us when we were selling sprinkles, and so we'd had a little bit of a relationship going since you were like 17 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now look at him.
And now I'm here.
In my living room. We're about to eat mince pies together.
Yeah.
And he's a member of the Crumbs and Doilies team. It can happen to anyone.
It's crazy. Never thought I'd be here.
But that's a bit of a side swipe from the most difficult, complicated cake we ever made, which was the 10,000 cupcake mosaic of a cherry blossom.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was great. Right, let's have a Secret Santa break. Woo! I want to see what people have got.
I'm going to pick them.
All right, who's going first?
I'm going to go for this one.
Who's that for?
It's got a D on it.
It's weighty. How do I get this open?
I actually don't really.
Scooch.
No, because I didn't do it. You got to use your man
Come on,
strength.
Dane. You're strong.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
What's it gonna be?
Ooh! This is perfect. It's a Yes, it's a selfie ring light.
Yeah!
I need one of these.
I know you do. I guess you probably do.
Father Christmas knows.
Yeah.
He sees everything.
That's so cool.
Does it clip on your phone?
Yeah. Clips on my phone. It's a stepless dimming. I have no idea what that means, but I'll work it out. This is a book.
Do you know how excited I am to see your new selfies with all the beautiful lighting?
I can't wait.
Oh my god, your bin selfies
Stop.
are going to be so Dane takes pictures of the
Ah, this is fun. Ah. It's Pretty Iconic by Sally Hughes. A book about beauty and everything that changed the world. Thanks. I feel like this was Jemma. Because
I know him
you
so
know
well.
me so well. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to see the new wave of Dane Pemberton selfies and makeup and skincare tutorials.
This is exciting because I never read books, but I want to start getting into reading books.
This is a really cool book.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Thanks.
Welcome. Zach Robinson says, what cake took you the longest time to get right? So we spend a lot of time developing and researching and developing our cakes, and when sometimes we go back to them after a couple of years and sort of check in and say, are we okay with this? Is this as good as it could be? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we completely overhaul whole recipes and because we're like, well, you know what, maybe this was good enough a couple of years ago, but we've come a long way since then, so maybe we need to just work on it again. Yeah. I think the one with the most work that was done on it was Red Velvet.
Yeah.
Just because when I first started baking, I knew that Red Velvet was a flavour that was going to be popular, just because cupcakes were quite a new thing and everyone was kind of jumping on the bandwagon, and I kept coming across a lot of Red Velvet cakes and just thinking, ugh, what is all the fuss about? I'd try different Red Velvet cakes and I'd be like, well, I don't understand. Why is everyone going nuts for this flavour? Yeah. And then trying different recipes and thinking, this just feels like it could be so much better. So back in the day, when I first started, I really rinsed that recipe, and in the end I just kind of discarded anything I knew already and just basically built it from scratch. But it's been through a couple of
It's been through, yeah, definitely. When we started doing big cakes, we got a completely new recipe for that because the cupcake one didn't. You can't translate that into big cake. So, yeah, we spent quite a lot of time on that.
Yeah,
and you can see that.
It's well
on
nice.
Your...
Oh yeah, you can actually see how we make it in both the cupcakes and the big cake version of Red Velvet on my channel. Yeah, I'll put the link in the description box. Birdkeeper S says, I'm assuming some kind of birdkeeper person. Mm-hmm. Hi Jemma, question, what are the 3 most important items in your shop's kitchen? By which I mean utensils and appliances, etc.
Oh. Okay, I've got one. So I'm at the shop quite a lot, and to cut the tray bakes, like the brownies you see that we bake and we have on the counter, they need to be all exactly the same size. So we've got like a pastry roller, and it kind of folds out, doesn't it, into like 4 things. And you can,
I think it's got 5.
has it got 5?
Yeah.
It's got 5 little roller blade things, and you roll it across the whatever you're doing, and it just makes marks, and then you can cut it, and it's so even and really good all the time.
And you can extend it and
Make it smaller,
it looks
bigger.
the opposite of extend.
Yeah.
It's quite scary, isn't it?
It is. It looks,
And it looks like tiny pizza cutters.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Oh, mine is a decent mixing bowl. Actually, multiple mixing bowls and rubber spatulas, which I have. Because they, you can't actually underestimate how important these are in getting icing out and scraping all your bowls. You need them.
Definitely.
They're good.
Definitely.
No blob left
No
unturned.
blob.
What's yours?
Mine would have to be my trusty cranked little palette knife, because it's good for decorating cakes or cupcakes or brownies. It is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Closely followed by the cake smoother, which
Sponge Cake Sally's famous cake
is
scraper.
my favourite thing. And I swear, like, if you have these 2 things, you are like
You're
made up
sorted.
for cakes.
Yeah.
You can even ice cupcakes with the palette knife.
Yeah,
Well,
you can. Yeah, you can do
if you so
everything
wish.
with it.
I used to.
And you can butter your toast if you
Yeah.
find any clean knives and they're all in the dishwasher.
True story.
Oh, what's yours then, Jemma?
Well, I think that everyone surely by now knows what mine is, and it's these. It's a set of electronic scales. Guys, how many times do I have to tell you? Life will be so different for you as a baker when you get yourself a set of electronic scales. This particular pair by Salter literally cost me 20 quid online. Like, it doesn't have to cost the earth. Scales measure like the weight of things, not the volume of things, because the volume of something is completely different to the weight. And you know, a cup of walnuts is the very different thing to a cup of sugar. Like you really can't underestimate the scope for error when you're just using cups as a measurement.
Definitely.
Sometimes it works, but if you're doing recipes, for example, like macarons, you absolutely can't
Yeah, you
cup
have
that.
to be so precise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these, I mean,
Also-
I can't believe I'm telling you again.
January sales.
Hey,
You'll get some in the January sales. They'll be cheap.
What are we getting for a £5?
No excuse. Get your scales.
Reka Ravi says, "Hello Gemma, can you share some tips on how to bake large batches of cupcakes when baking from home?"
Yes. Get prepared.
Yeah, be very prepared.
Don't leave your batter
Laying around.
Bake in small batches.
Baking small batches, I would say, is the most, like, even though Crumbs and Doilies is now quite big and we churn out the cupcakes, we still bake everything in small batches because the quality of your cake is so much better than like a factory-sized amount of batter. You know?
Absolutely, definitely.
So baking in small batches is not a bad thing. It does take a bit longer, but you can make life easier for yourself by getting more prepared. So
you can, whilst you've got some cupcakes or cakes baking in the oven, you can get your next batter on the go, and if you've got more cupcake tins, then you can get them all like piped out or whatever, waiting to go in, and then just churn it and churn it and churn it. You might have to like buy extra cupcake tins and stuff, but honestly, it will make your life so much easier. So much easier, and guaranteed you'll have like nice cupcakes every time, rather than like making like a vat of batter and then just moving it around.
And you can also weigh out your dry ingredients beforehand as well. That will be so much easier. Get organised with that.
Yeah. Another thing that I used to do when I first started in my domestic oven, which only had 2 shelves, is I bought myself an extra 2 shelves, because there's usually at least 3 shelf holes in the oven, and I used to put the 3 in those 3 of them in those rungs, and then 1 on the very bottom, like just on the floor of the oven, so that I could make my 2 shelf oven into a 4 shelf oven. Sometimes you might need to work out like whether you need to swap some around halfway through, but
whatever you do, don't ever put anything on the bottom of your oven.
Yeah, not directly on the bottom, ever.
Never.
Bad. Ooh, Sarah Donoras. Ooh. Donoras? She wants to know, how much butter does Crumbs and Doilies use in a week, and who does the washing up? Well,
we all do
who does the washing up? Everyone does the washing
Yes.
up.
Everybody, we do not have a pot wash.
No.
It's just a bit mean,
it's
isn't
a bit
it?
mean.
Yeah.
Even when we have interns, it's not like, oh, we've got an intern, now we've got a washer-upper.
Yeah, never.
no.
Everyone still does the washing up.
Yeah.
Because
if you
that's
wash
fair.
up as you go, then you're left with
No
heaps of
extra.
washing up to do.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Although there are certain things that need to be washed up which nobody wants to do, like the cupcake tins.
Yeah.
And packs of butter, we just worked this out actually.
Yeah.
We go through approximately 800 packets of butter a week.
That's a lot of butter.
a lot of butter.
250 gram blocks, that is.
Oh my god, how much? I can't do maths.
What do you want us to work
I
out?
want to know how many
Grams.
Oh,
that
yeah.
So it's 250 grams times 800. So 250 times 8.
is
250 times 4 is 1,000. So it's 2,000. So it's 2,000 plus 2 extra zeros on the end. Is that
See,
right?
Nikki, type
No,
into
I'm not. Oh my god.
Woo!
200,000 grams. That's
200. So 200 kilograms.
Yeah.
Not a maths. Basic maths.
Going on the comments below, like, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah. And also, I can't believe how long it took you guys to work that out.
We're in a Christmas food coma, don't
Yeah.
judge us.
Brain's not working properly. Need more Christmas pudding. Should we do another
Yes.
present?
Oh my god.
You want a present?
Yeah.
Go on, let's
Okay.
find Gemma's.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh.
And it's got cute little doo-doos on the side. Doo-doos. It's got a card with nothing in it.
Ooh, mystery.
But it's got a cupcake on the front. That's me.
It's you.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
All the clues. So, little did you know that Sally recently got broken into and all her Christmas presents got stolen. But I'm glad this one survived. Ooh, what is it? Oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh my god, why is this so hard? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
It is a rainbow. Oh, I can't get it off the thing. It's a rainbow neon light. It's a rainbow neon light. I need to make this happen.
Are you ready?
I hope it works. Imagine.
No, wait.
I do actually really love that.
Thank you.
I love it so much.
Oh.
Okay, Kimmy LBC says, "Ooh, this is a really good one. I know you guys are going to get quite passionate about this. Could you please explain to us why it is that whenever I bake a cake in a deep pan, it never cooks right in the middle but always starts to burn on the top if left too long, and how to solve this, please?"
Don't use a deep pan.
Unless it's like a fruit cake, like a Christmas cake, because then it's going to take quite a long time
You'll
to
bake that
But
for hours.
Even with a Christmas cake, you have to wrap it in.
You
wrap it in like newspaper to stop the sides from burning, because that's the real risk when you're baking something with a massive volume.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The heat takes ages to get to the middle.
Yeah.
So what do we do instead?
So we bake it in 4 layers, or however many
Yeah.
layers you're going to cut your cake into. Like all of Gemma's cake videos, we
Yeah.
use layers, don't we?
Yeah, just like sandwich tins that you can get that are about, like 3 inches?
Less.
Yeah,
I'd say they're about 2.
inches.
Ours are about 2 inches high.
2 inches high.
And
But
they're
even-
bake cooker too.
Yeah. Even if you can't, splash out on loads of sandwich tins, but you've got these deep tins, just use them, but just don't fill them.
Don't fill
really.
them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to bake it for a lot longer, and I'm talking a lot. Like some of those deep tins, you need to bake for like 45 minutes to an hour, whereas the smaller tins, like all my recipes, are between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on the size.
Yeah.
So-
You're never going to get a consistent sponge
No.
if it's that, deep, because the outside's going to cook first and then it's the inside's raw, so by the time the inside's cooked, the
will
outside's going to be
sink.
dry
Yeah.
and overcooked, and it's just not worth it.
Rachel Thompson wants to ask the whole team, I'm currently trying to decide whether or not to go to culinary school, college, or teach myself baking or patisserie. I'm interested to hear how you guys got into the industry and any educational routes you took. Well, I think there's only one of us that took the educational route. Just you.
Okay, so I did like food technology at school. I was really passionate about that. And then when I left after my A-levels, I went to college and I did a culinary diploma that was kind of like the pastry side and like savoury food, which is like larder. And then after that I went on to do a pastry course, which was just a year long. And we did learn kind of like Danish pastries and that kind of side of things. But I think I learned more just teaching myself from books and online and shows, and you just pick up a lot more, I think.
You do. Yeah. I mean, us three, none of us are professionally trained in any way.
We're not professionals.
I mean, we're definitely professionals, but we've made ourselves that way. And I think, for me, like, I don't think there's one right way of doing it. I think I'd love to go to culinary school. I'd love to go to do a pastry. Like, I'd love to learn more, because there's definitely heaps of stuff that I don't know how to do, and that left to my own devices, are probably not going to be able to try. You know, so I'd quite like to have someone force me to try to make these things, but I don't feel like I'm any less knowledgeable or have the potential to learn because I didn't go to school, pastry school or culinary school.
Yeah.
And do you guys feel the same?
Yeah, definitely.
Life is the best teacher, and practice.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think just practice. If you don't do something right the first time, try it again. Just try and figure out where you went wrong. Like, the worst that's going to happen is you have a whole load of rejects that you need to give to your neighbours and friends. Like, they're going to be happy with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me.
They'll never say no.
But, you know, we're all, you know, Sally, you've been working for Crumbs and Doilies for like 8 years. Gosh. I've worked Crumbs and Doilies for like nearly 13. You guys have been with us for ages. And like, apart from Dane, like, none of us have professional qualifications or a certificate that says that we rule at pastry or anything. Like, we just...
I'll make you a certificate.
Thanks. I think if you're passionate about something, you'll work hard for it, and then you'll get there.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's a good point you made as well about learning. If you want the best out of something, I think get work experience in a kitchen. Even if you're doing like the most worst jobs, watch people in the kitchen. You learn so much from watching, and I've learned things from watching you guys, and it's just the best thing. Yeah.
True that. Should we have another present?
Yes. It's present time.
I think give SpongeBob her present.
Yeah.
Is it?
You get all of that. That's lovely.
All of it.
And the other one.
Sally's got so much to open.
Yeah, because Sally's my favourite.
Okay, here we go.
I use quite a lot of sellotape.
Oh my god. That's
Could you imagine if it was? No, it's not. Yeah.
What? David Attenborough mug?
Does it say David Atten? Hang on, I can't open it.
David Attenborough.
David Attenborough.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a slab! Yeah. My favourite!
Yeah.
It's not my present though, so I can't get excited.
This is not yours, it's mine.
What is it? A taco? Oh, it's a taco!
Yes, because, I mean, Christmas is gone, but Sally had a Mexican themed Christmas this year.
I did!
So,
that is perfect. I'll have to do it again next year.
You will, because
that is it. Ooh.
Her Secret Santa's going on for so long.
Oh, sorry, I'll just be really quick. Cornflakes!
No, they're chicken nuggets!
So what have we got?
Chicken nugget notebook.
Because Sally loves the chicken nugget.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Final one.
This is it.
Better be the final one.
It is, don't worry.
That's very sturdy wrapping paper.
Thanks!
This is my favourite thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's a little bowl.
I'm just sitting here displaying the presents.
This is what you could have got.
Yeah, if you'd been Sally.
I'm just going to throw it all on your floor.
Right.
Oh my god, I love it.
What are you going to eat out of it first?
Chicken nuggets.
I'll have a nugget.
Thanks, Nikki.
Oh, Sally.
Not at all jealous.
Yeah.
This mug is
good.
the bomb.
It's mine.
Next year, whoever gets me as their secret Santa.
Fatima Fazek says, to the whole crew, what is the most hilarious accident you've done in the kitchen?
Oh,
it's been a few.
I mean, dropping stuff, right?
yeah.
Do you remember, well, everyone who's worked at Crumbs and Doilies has at some point dropped a box of sprinkles, which is just the most annoying
And
thing.
so noisy.
Yeah, really annoying.
Everywhere
So annoying to clean
They
up.
just ping everywhere when you try and sweep them up. They just go ping, 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 ping.
Dropping eggs is like the hardest thing to clean up.
So hard.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never dropped a cake though.
No.
No.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you dropped a
good
cake, that
stars.
wouldn't be amusing in the slightest.
No.
So that would not be the
Generally
answer to
not.
this question.
Do you remember when Sophie dropped a massive, like 5 or maybe
5
more
litre.
litre a tub of buttermilk?
Yeah. I think the handle breaks easily.
Oh, God.
She picked it up and it just went like boom, poof,
And the whole thing just...
everywhere. So she kind of smelled like buttermilk for the rest of the day.
This is by night air, but a lot of other people ask this question every time Dane appears. They say, oh my God, how does Dane get such amazing posture?
How am I sitting now? Is this good?
Were you a ballet child?
No, I think I always used to slouch at school, like sitting on the desk, I would always slouch like this, but I think just standing up, and I have a long neck as well, so
He's very
I
swan-like.
think it just
He is.
lifts me up. But yeah.
It does make the rest of us look quite slow.
It does.
Yeah.
Now we're like.
I thought I had quite good posture, but now nobody ever mentions it on my video. Harriet O'Neill, this is a good one. What causes the cupcake liners to pull away from the cupcake after it's cooled?
We have done so many tests on stuff like this.
Yeah.
It can be a few things.
Yeah.
It can obviously be the paper. If it's not good quality paper cases, then sometimes that happens. So the first thing I would do is shop around for a better quality paper.
Yeah.
But it quite often is something else, isn't it?
What do you reckon?
I mean, undermixing your batter. If
Yeah.
you've got, and also quite hard butter,
Yeah.
Definitely.
or even too soft butter.
Yeah, you really need to get it spot on. So
Yeah.
we've done like so many tests on like the perfect consistency of
Yeah.
butter. Like you don't want it too soft, you don't want it
Not
too
too
hard.
hard.
If you have it
Yeah.
too hard, it's not going to whip up properly.
Yeah.
Undermixing or overmixing your batter, and there's so many. But I think we'd probably say it's down to the method.
Yeah.
So it's just best to like test it,
Yeah.
write what you did down, and then try it differently next time.
Olivia Bennett says, what are your top tips for baking ahead for events? I'm baking mega cupcakes for my best friend's wedding, but I'm also a bridesmaid, so I need to work out the logistics of buttercream, fresh sponge, and being a bridesmaid. That is going to be difficult, Olivia
That just
said.
sounds like stress.
Yeah.
But
But it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
you
Yeah,
can totally
you
do
can do
that.
that. You can totally do
I would definitely make my buttercream a couple of days in advance.
Yeah.
Because that will be fine. Much more fine than sponge will if you bake it too far in advance. So get that done.
Yeah, just keep it at a nice room temperature.
Yeah.
Keeps for like a good 5 days.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, if it gets too cold to use, just whack it in the microwave for a couple of seconds just to get it to a more usable consistency. And the sponge, I would try and do that as close to the wedding day as possible so that they're nice and soft and fresh.
Yeah, day before would be fine, and
Yeah.
just put them in Tupperware, or just make sure that they're airtight.
Yeah.
And then if you're able to ice it on the day,
That's great.
then
Yeah.
ace, and if not, just the night before, and just make sure they're airtight. And they'll be fine.
If you don't have like lots and lots of Tupperware containers, what you can do is put them in cardboard boxes. You can pick them up relatively cheaply. And once you've put them in the cardboard boxes, wrap them in cling film.
Yeah.
That will help.
Good luck.
You're gonna be great. You're gonna be a fantastic bridesmaid straight baker.
What's
right.
next?
I think we should give Nikki her present soon. She's the last person left for her present.
Here she is.
Oh, you got a sandwich!
I wonder who my secret Santa was.
This is very poorly wrapped, whoever did this.
Ooh. What could this be?
Oh my god.
What's
that? Face mask.
A sheet mask.
Deep
A sheet
hydration
mask.
sheet mask. Lovely.
Luxurious.
Luxurious. Oh my
Did you make that?
I made it last night.
Okay, so the story behind this is
Show it to the camera.
me and Dane will literally, if we're working together, which isn't that often, but when it is, it's like mayhem. We will literally quote Friends all day long. So if you watch Friends, you will know that we make the presents. Oh, I can't believe you made that.
Yes. And of course.
So, I love macarons, and obviously Dane is macaron Dane. But
Looks like he's got someone else to do the hard work here, though.
ooh,
Macaron.
I know your face. There's also another one in there that's called brown cheese.
yes, I had
Do
this
you
in
like
Paris.
it?
was
I've
actually
had brown
really
cheese,
nice.
actual brown cheese.
It looks like this.
It's really weird.
Chocolatey, caramelly.
Caramelly, yeah.
Oh.
So nice. Lisa K LCC, this has got to be for you because it's when I make macarons, they look good, but when I bite into them, they're hollow. I tap the cookie sheet on the counter prior to baking. Where did I go wrong?
Oh, okay, so hollow shells. Sometimes it can be if you overbeat the meringue. So sometimes people will get the egg whites whipping and they'll whip it till it's a stiff meringue. You kind of want to whip it until it's like foamy and kind of like white but frothy, yeah, and then start adding the syrup, because if you whisk it while the egg whites are kind of stiff, they're kind of broken and the meringue gets dry and it's overbeaten and it's stiff. Yes, or baking it at a different temperature. Try baking it at a high temperature for a short amount of time or a low temperature for a longer amount of time. Try that.
Thanks, Macaron Dane.
You're welcome.
So one of our best friends on Instagram, Wibbly Pig, who you can see if you check out Instagram, he wants to know, this is a very important question, guys.
Oh, go on.
Orange or mint matchmakers?
Mint.
Yeah, it's got to be mint.
Yeah, I think mint.
yes.
I think mint. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I do like an orange as well, though.
Yeah, but
I'll eat them if the mint are all.
I would take one mint over 3 oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bold
You know what I'm
statement.
saying? And we also got asked a lot of questions about how to freeze cakes. Don't freeze cakes.
No.
No.
That's the answer to that question. Make fresh
They
cakes,
will
guys.
literally be rank.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
they'll just be dry and they'll have that like freezer flavour. Gross.
Yeah.
We also got lots of questions about like revealing who our worst customers have been. Never talk about your worst customers if you're trying to start a business or you're in business. That is really bad skills, guys. Don't ever talk about your worst customers to anyone but your close friends and family. We do get asked a lot of questions, like I get asked a lot of questions about how to start a business. I mean, there's a million ways of starting a business. My way was just one. And if you want to know how I did it, then you can check out the link to one of my Ask Me Anything videos. I will put it in there or there, down there or around, because I actually go into that in quite some depth. So please go and watch that so I don't have to say it again. But there's a million different ways, and no way is the right way or wrong way. Just trying is the first step.
Just try.
And if at first you don't succeed, try again. Oh, well, thank you all so much for all your amazing questions. There were so many more that we just didn't have time to answer, I'm afraid. Really sorry if we missed your question, but I'll do another one of these soon, and maybe even with these guys. So thank you all so much. And thank you for presents and all the fun times. And just thanks for being part of the Crumbs and Doilies team. I'm so super grateful for you, all of you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this Ask Me Anything round. Please tune in next week. There'll be a recipe for you. And in the meantime, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So have a good time.
Bye.